So for the topic of today's sermon, it's the topic of holding on to anger. The Buddha gave 3 very clear examples of metaphors of how to think about anger. The first one was when a person shoots you with a bow and arrow, and the arrow stuck to your chest. Well, what would a smart person do versus what would a foolish person do? A foolish person, which most of the world consists of this, would get angry, would try to find a way to kill that person back, or try to find a way to hurt them back. That's our first impulse. How could you do this to me? I gotta get you back. Revenge. This is our first impulse, which the Buddha says is the thinking process of a foolish person. A smart person will try to find a way to treat their wounds. They'll pull the arrow out, see how much damage the arrow did, and take the proper medication, proper medicine, and proper treatment for the wound. And then we'll talk about what we do next. Otherwise, in the process of chasing after the guy who shot you, you might be dead before you even get to him. In the second metaphor, the Buddha said, what should one do if someone else comes and lights your hair on fire? Well, what would most people do? In this case, the Buddha also said the foolish and the wise will act differently. The foolish will run after them and try to light their hair on fire to get them back. You yelled at me, I'm going to yell at you. You hurt me, I'm going to hurt you. You cheat on me, I'm going to cheat on you. I'm going to get you back. This is the actions of a foolish person. But the Buddha says a wise person would act differently. What would a wise person do? First of all, I'm going to find a way to get this fire out of my hair. I'm not going to let it burn my entire head or burn my entire hair. That wouldn't be reasonable. A lot of us really like our hair. We don't want to have it all burned off. So there's a difference between the foolish and a wise person. And lastly, the Buddha compared anger to hot coals. When you're holding hot coals, getting ready to throw it at someone, what usually happens? By the time you pick it up, by the time you aim it, by the time you get ready to fling it at someone, what's happened to your hand? You've probably burned off most of the skin on your hand already, getting ready to hurt someone else. And this is the 3 metaphors that the Buddha clearly explained about anger, which is anger happens inside us. Other people are merely factors to our anger, but our anger happens inside us. And so it's our responsibility to extinguish that flame. It doesn't help to go hurt them back. It doesn't help to go get revenge. Because when you do, your anger just gets replaced by regret, or more anger, or madness, or vengeance. It doesn't help. It doesn't get rid of it. It's our job to get rid of our anger. So when anger arises within us, such as an arrow being shot into us, or flames in our hair, or a piece of coal in our hand, what do? We find a way to contain that problem first. So firstly, we stop talking. In the moment you sense that you're angry, in the moment you sense that you're losing control, stop talking. Limit your decisions to very minimal decisions. Don't make any actions, don't drive, don't run, don't operate heavy machinery. Don't do anything until you have a control over your anger. Then try to figure out what made you so angry. What was it that caused you to feel so much anger from this particular action or words that they said? And how should you deal with it in the future? How can you better prevent arrows being shot at you in the future? Better prevent your hair being lit on fire? Better prevent people putting coals in your hand? This is our job, because there will always be people ready to shoot you with arrows. There will always be people ready to light your hair on fire. There will always be hot coals, people putting it in your hands. So how do you free yourself as long as you live in this crazy, wild world? You have to find a way to protect yourself from these things. How do you not put yourself in that situation? How do you not allow it to get to that stage? How do you not allow it to escalate? These are our job. These are the things that we must contemplate and figure out to control the anger. Because as the Buddha said, the anger happens in us, and it's our job to extinguish it.